lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Talladega Super Speedway, the Racers Elite Cup Series is gearing up to go restrictor plate racing at our sport's largest oval. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lincoln, Alabama, home of the 2.66-mile super speedway designed by Bill France Sr. Last week at another historic NASCAR Grand National track, Rockingham, Ira Kohlhaas captured the checkered flag, making him the first back-to-back winner of the season. Ira and Kensley Smith were both dominant up front all night long, but Smith couldn't hold off the strength of Kohlhaas. Even with his second win on the season, though, Kohlhaas maintains his points position in third right now, while Jason Bottoms leapt up 5 positions into ninth in our point standings. I'm Dave Riegel, alongside my esteemed partner, Mr. Daniel Paulus Jr. right here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. And we'd like to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening, as we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Daniel, I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am tonight, because this, at least for me, the granddaddy of all super speedways, is my favorite place to watch laps turn.
Well, this is the biggest one of them all here tonight, Dave. These drivers are going to have to tackle the biggest, baddest track here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. Tonight, nobody is safe. We could see a big one even on lap 1. We may not see a big one until the white flag waves. We will not know what will happen here, but the draft is going to be very crucial. Do we see some drivers that may start in the front drop to the back early on and just wait and see how this thing plays? Or are we going to see them be very aggressive early on? We're gonna have to see how this all shakes out here tonight, but I know some of these drivers wanted to win last week at Rockingham because they know tonight they might not have a shot at winning.
Yeah, you know, Talladega kind of bills itself as a wild card in our sport, because, you know, there are some drivers who can't always get the hang of a mile and a half or a short track. There are some drivers that can't always get the hang of, you know, the occasional road course. So we come to a place like this where all of a sudden you're basically holding it wide open, and it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of discipline to turn laps here at this 2.66 mile super speedway. I cannot stress enough that this place is enormous, as we watch Brandon Zimmerman out of Gloucester here coming out of turn 4. Now, here's the interesting thing. We talk about this all the time. The start-finish line here at Talladega is actually beyond the midpoint of the tri-oval. There's the Geico restart zone, and it's actually in a dogleg much further. There it is, down the racetrack. So, you know, where this is, it's actually past the exit of pit road. So, you know, it still allows for a lot more exciting racing as we pan back here, you know, down the front stretch, which, for my money, if I'm a fan and I'm in the stands, I don't want to see people getting off the throttle too soon. I want to see them full throttle coming through that tri-oval.
Well, and you know, some of these drivers, we were not here too long ago, Dave, at Talladega here in Racers Elite. We see some drivers, they make a move way before we're even close to the start-finish line. They can make a move in turn 4, and they may be thinking that they're coming off with a win, but they may not be coming off with a win, because you see those drivers make crucial passes here into that tri-oval coming to the start-finish line.
Yeah, now we see Gregory Robinson, who didn't even log a recordable time on his first lap, comes across on the second lap and goes P2 almost instantly, knocked out of the way by Kirby Wainscott here in the 10 as he comes across the line. And as he cools it down there in the Kentucky Fried Chicken number 10 machine out of Sparta, Kentucky, you know, all we can say is, you know, good luck to many of these drivers. And, of course, right now we're going to take a peek at my Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series teammate, my brother from another mother, Mr. Matt Metler, here in the 311 Juggle.com Toyota Camry. First of all, sharp-looking paint scheme for the Matster. And as he comes down the backstretch, we're going to watch him here as he's already decided on this first lap coming out of turn number 4 that he wants to hug this yellow line. Usually we see guys try to stay up and build as much speed in the car and as much heat in the tires as possible. But right now we're going to watch Matt hold as close as a human can right here to the yellow line. And this is going to be... Oh, he let me down.
Oh, no.
Well, let's see if Teft doesn't let us down. We're going to go over here to Hope Valley, Rhode Island's very own Andrew Teft in the 98. And, of course, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here in this series. Now, we can see he almost has those left side tires down here on the yellow line. I mean, he is literally inches away from it.
That's what you want. And for you viewers wondering, why are they running towards the yellow line, the closest to the yellow line? That is because the closer you are to the yellow line, you're making the track a lot shorter, and you're making your lap times a lot faster. But you see some of these drivers, Dave, like we just saw with Matt Metler. I'm going to mention this anyway. If they clip that yellow line and they get on that apron, that's going to get that car very loose, and it's going to ruin your qualifying lap. So you want to be very cautious here when you're that close to the yellow line.
Yeah, in the turns especially, you know, once you get down there, that transition is incredibly hard. And we can see that seam right there where the banking begins to form off of the yellow line. Andrew Teft goes from no time to third best on the timing line. You see that seam where it starts to form that 33-degree banking here in 1 and 2. And, as we, oh my goodness, look how close he is. I mean, he is putting on a clinic of how to get on, if not closer, to the yellow line than anybody I've seen in a long time.
Well, for me, I think that's the closest I ever seen a driver get to the yellow line, to be honest with you. And that's a huge risk you're willing to take. Do you want to stay down there, get the fastest lap time, and be up front? But are you risking to, lose that lap time by making a little mistake there on the yellow line in the banking? That is a thing as a driver that you're deciding basically whether or not if you're starting in the front or the back. And Dave, more drivers, they make their first start here at Talladega. And I can see why, you're full throttle, but, it's really hard if you're a first timer coming here at Talladega, because if you push that driver in front of you a little bit the wrong way, let's say on the quarter panel, that's going to send them around right in front of you and could potentially take out a few other good drivers here in the race.
Taking a look here at Noah Tansman in the number 56. Now, he just finished his qualifying effort. He right now is scored on the outside of row number 1, P2 right now, in the Wild Willys Chevrolet Camaro. And I'll tell you what, that is a sharp-looking paint scheme. I love the lines down the side. It's got a little bit of everything. Of course, tonight, for my money, I'm keeping my eye on Gregory Robinson in the 8, because I understand that you're a younger person than I am, Daniel. But when I was, in my early teens through my, basically most of my teenage years, every time we came here, there was a chance that my favorite driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., was going to take the checkered flag. I mean, he was dominant here in the early 2000s. It was such an exciting time to be a Dale Jr. fan. And this place really is what helped me develop my NASCAR fandom. I mean, smack dab in the middle of the season. And, of course, you watch the week before for the setup for Talladega. You watch the week after to see how some of the tempers flare. And it just grew from there. This place is why I do what I do here at Sim Racing Media.
Well, let's just say the track is full of action here. We might see some drivers go home later tonight, a little upset with other drivers, but we move on from it as drivers. And I mean, it's been an interesting week, and actually last week, Dave, because we go to Rockingham, we finish up, and then all of a sudden Friday morning we get an earthquake. I don't know if you felt it, but it was pretty strong over here in Eastern PA.
You know what? I didn't feel it where I am right outside of Philly. Which was strange. I was actually in an elevator when it happened, so the elevator seemed to have taken, because I was suspended by a cable, it must have taken most of the shock. And speaking of shock, we see some of these drivers going to feel like they're in shock as we get some of these graphics up here on screen as we get ready to take a look at our starting lineup. 21 cars to take the green flag tonight, as we see most of these drivers getting into the cars now. Let's get that out of the way. We'll get on down here, and we're going to take a look at the front row of Matt Schlosser, and of course Tansman's not in his car yet. But yeah, to complete your thought, I didn't feel it. I was in an elevator, had no idea what had gone on, and next thing you know, everybody's hey, did you feel that? No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I guess.
Well, let's just say it came out of nowhere, and yeah, it was very interesting. Nobody was expecting it, but that's like a one-in-a-lifetime thing over here on the East Coast. You barely get earthquakes. But it was pretty cool. And, now back to racing here at Talladega. Are we going to see aggressive drivers, be up towards the front? Probably so. That's where you're going to find your aggressive drivers. But let's say you were new to this type of track, because there's drafting involved. Do you want to explain to the viewers, Dave, why this draft is so important and why it could get you into some trouble?
We'll cover that in just a minute as we're going to get going here. Drivers pulling off of the starting grid here on pit road. We're coming off of pit road as we take a look here. Everybody getting gridded up here. Matt Schlosser going to be our pole sitter. He will be on the inside of row number 1, joined by Noah Tansman. There it is. Noah Tansman of Waltham, Massachusetts. Kirby Wainscott and Andrew Teft going to be in row number 2. Gregory Robinson from Sault Ste. Marie Michigan in the 8 car alongside of Truth Hoke in row number 3. Row 4 going to feature Alex Teft and Diego Rodriguez. In row number 4 from Adrian, Michigan, Curtis Ecker and Brandon Sanfilippo make up your top 10. There in row number 5, Kensley Smith and Ira Kohlhaas, who were exchanging, paint and positions last week at Rockingham. They're going to both be here in row number 6. Jason Bottoms, our big mover in our point standings, he's going to start 13th on the inside of row number 7 alongside Sam Kohlhaas in the 30. Troy Thomas and Alan Bergen, our very own from right here at Sim Racing Media out of St. Louis, Missouri, they're going to be in row number 8, while row 9 going to have Brandon Honeycutt and Brandon Zimmerman. Dennis Kane and Dakota Bly going to be in row number 10, while my teammate from Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series action, Mr. Matt Metler out of Florida, going to be starting shotgun on the field. Daniel, there are 21 cars ready to take the green flag tonight as the iRacing pace car brings us through turn 3 and 4, and this is one of my favorite places to be. I know that for some drivers this place can be a headache, but at least for me, the viewer, this is the exciting place. Now, once again, we're going to see that iRacing.com pace car come off what looks early to us here in the broadcast booth and in the stands, but remember, that start-finish line is not until after the exit of pit road. So for right now, folks, there's only one thing left to do, and it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab that popcorn, call a friend, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! We're going to see a nice tight start to this race already as Matt Schlosser gets a nice jump here over top of Noah Tansman in the 10, Kirby Wainscott in the 10. He's going to be here on the low line. The top side, though, here of Noah Tansman bringing along the 98 of Andrew Teft, they're building some momentum up here already, which is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on for sure as we haul it down the back chute. That top line is what I like to kind of refer. Whoa! We go 3 wide here on lap 3 wide on lap 1. Andrew Teft is falling like a stone, and he just had the 56 abandoned here in the middle. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to have to find a place to go. Truth Hoke leads the way now. Everybody going to have to jockey for position. 3 wide again as the 56 of Noah Tansman is just sinking here as we work lap number 2. We almost go 4 wide as Dennis Kane looks to the high side, but they are now 2 rows of 3 wide in front of the 8 car of Gregory Robinson. And Robinson starting to get a little nervous here as he's here on the low side. Daniel, this is getting dicey already.
Oh, you can see the draft coming into play here on lap 1, just going down the back straightaway. We're seeing drivers that make aggressive blocks, and you're seeing them fall back in that 3 wide action. If you fall out of line, you're going to go all the way to the back if you have no help behind you. And that's because of the draft there, because once you're out of the draft, it's like you're in no man's land. As you see, we're riding on board here at the 30th, Sam Kohlhaas. And watch, Dave, look at how big of an elevation change this is here in the turn.
Yeah, you're going to go here in 1 and 2. It goes to 33 degrees even. It goes to 32.4 and 32.5 in turns 3 and 4. So only a half degree difference. We'll call it 33 degrees for old time's sake. But right now, Sam Kohlhaas running in 4th position. And, when I say wild card, this is something that we're going to see all night long as we're going to take a peek right here. Now, Matt Metler started shotgun on the field and has already worked his way up into 11th position. So plus 10 to the good for my partner as Dennis Kane here in the 4, same way, plus 10. Once you start to see some of these drivers get comfortable, we're going to have what I like to affectionately call the shovel move. So what happens here is this top line, right now, which would consist of, looks like the 56 of Noah Tansman, the 4 of Dennis Kane, and the 8 of Gregory Robinson. They're going to be able to form up. They're going to get some momentum here. As wow, that's getting kind of tight, fellas. Let's not get nuts. As speaking of getting nuts, there's Alan Bergen deciding to go 3 wide all on his lonesome. He doesn't even have anybody to side draft with up there. Alan, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but get back down there in line.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to try 3 wide if you have no help behind you there, because once again, if you're out of that draft, you're going to go right to the back, and you're not going to gain any position either, because once you go further back, it's going to be hard to get forward. As you're seeing up towards the front there, everybody back bunched up once again. And Dave, you're seeing these drivers a little wiggly here yet.
Oh, we're going to see some wiggle until some of these, some of the tires come up to temperature. I mean, we're on lap 5 now. Now we're starting to get up to that full speed. And here's exactly what I was talking about just a moment ago. I'm calling this the shovel move. When you're up here on the high side, that high side is going to build all kinds of speed in the draft. Okay? So what's going to happen is exactly what we just saw here a moment ago. The 59 of Truth Hoke was shoving the 40 along of Matt Schlosser. Now, Schlosser got up there, and he decided immediately to abandon the 59 of Hoke. So that line in the top is like a feeder line, and it's almost like, shuffling. There used to be a toy called Jacob's Ladder. You flipped it back and forth, and it made the blocks, change colors or whatever it was. And all it does is it shuffles that lead car now, or, in the top line, drop them down into the bottom line. Then they get to lead for a little while. The top line starts to load up all kinds of energy. They drive to the front of the pack. They drop another driver off. And it just simply starts to, shuffle these cars around. Now, all I can say for the time being is that if I was up here and I was, the 59 of Truth Hoke, where is he? There he is. We see Truth Hoke here leading the 56 of Noah Tansman. I want Noah Tansman and Matt Mettler to link onto my bumper and do not let go. You're going to build that momentum, but the question is and here they go, once you get up there to the top, the question becomes, do you bring those guys along with you, or do you abandon them, kind of like Schlosser did to Hoke?
Well, if you're seeing right there in the 59, he's going to get that bump by the 56 of Noah Tansman. And when we talk about bumping here, Dave, you don't want to bump like you're locking bumpers on. That's just not safe at all. And another reason about bumping, you don't want to be bumping in the corners either, because if you bump in the corners, it makes the car so loose and hard to handle. It just spins the driver out. I mean, it's insane, especially if they're getting a big run behind you and they just ram in the back of you. You're probably going to go around.
Yeah, you've got to hit that just so. Now, these cars are a little bit, there it is, from Mettler. In fact, let's see if we can get right down here onto Mettler's nose. That sounds like a ride at Six Flags, Mettler's nose. Now, we're going to ride along here with Mettler. Now, watch him bump the rear end of the 59 right now. Hey, Matt, listen, bring it in, a little bit to the left. He's going to have to stabilize and not make that bump until we hit back onto the front stretch. You don't, unless you're really good at it or you've practiced this with a specific partner, you don't want to try to push people through the turns. In fact, Jeff Gordon spoke of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was actually following him. I believe it was either here or Daytona, I don't remember. But he was on the radio screaming that, Junior was pushing him. Here it comes. Boom. He was screaming that Junior was hitting him through the turn, which is, it loosens the car up. It's right there. Right there. That's exactly what we see now. Yep. We just heard Mettler get off the throttle. He's going to have to giddy up back here. He's going to get one good hit this. Nope, he's not. He kind of blew that one. As all of a sudden, Andrew Teft on the high side.
Wow.
Leading a third line.
Oh, Kane's in the wall.
Now, this is something that while we were riding along trying to explain bump drafting that's been developing. And now Andrew Teft comes up here, forms a third line. Oh, they made contact.
Oh, Andrew Teft's around, collects the 8. Into the tri-oval they go. Oh. I see the 59 Truth Hoke involved there.
Oh, that's not going to be good for anybody. Well, let's see what happened here. Unfortunately, we saw what was happening. We're going to go right back here to Teft. Now we're going to watch Teft. We see the 59 of Hoke. And Hoke was trying to get linked up with Teft, but he got greedy and he tried to take that run, and instead they took each other out running here through the infield. And that's something that we're going to see a fair amount of, shall I say. Because Hoke looked like he thought that he could get a run there in the middle, and he wasn't ready to see that happen. As here we're going to see it again. Maybe not. There it is. As they come scooting across the start-finish line. Maybe that wasn't too great of a... that wasn't too great. We're going to go up here on the nose of Teft. And here's Teft up here on the high side, kind of minding his business. He's got that third line all formed up. And now is where we're going to see Hoke hook him. And Teft gets into the aid of Gregory Robinson and just goes pirouetting through the grass, tearing things up for the landscapers who just spent all of that time making the grass look so nice for this event. So, first caution of the night here on lap number 10. Now, an interesting fact here for these folks here at home, Daniel, is a fast repair in the pocket of each of these drivers. How many do you think we're going to see take that fast repair?
Well, you want me to be honest here, Dave? Probably going to see every single driver, maybe. I would say 5 drivers out of the whole pack may not use it, but a majority of tonight's drivers will probably get involved either in an incident or wreck themselves somehow, some way, because that's just how Talladega is. So I expect most of these drivers to probably use their fast repair. But remember, Dave, once that fast repair is gone, you're out of luck.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, we're pretty early in this race. I mean, we're 11 laps in. And believe me, we were ripping them off pretty good. I mean, best lap in that opening segment was 49.32, 49.30. 26, 49.11. I mean, we were seeing some real close 48s in here as we work caution number 1. So let's see if we can get a hold of anybody. Bear with me here, folks. In fact, we're going to get a hold of Andrew Teft here in the Chicken Coop Racing Stable. Hey, Andrew, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Well, it's going pretty good, but, you know, tough break for you in the 98 just moments ago. What was going on there is it looked like you formed a pretty good third line, and then, you know, the wheels came all the way off.
Yeah, it was working pretty decent. I thought he was kind of getting behind me for a second to work with us, and then it seemed like he went back middle, and I don't know, next thing I know, I was backwards. So, no, I got a minute of damage, so I'm going to try to repair here and save my fast repair and see what happens next.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analysis. I mean, that's basically what we saw here in the broadcast booth. You know, thought that he was going to come up there, and then, you know, kind of got, I'm going to say kind of got a little greedy and thought, oh, maybe I can ride this middle lane, and obviously it didn't work out well. How does the turbulence feel there with all of that disturbed air while you're in the middle of the pack?
We were kind of talking about it a little bit in the team chat here. It's like cooler conditions. It does feel looser than normal, a little bit more of a handful. And we're just thinking maybe that has something to do with it, but yeah, definitely a handful today.
All right, my man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Of course, you've got your minute of damage. That keeps your fast repair in your pocket, so good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully you don't need to get any more damage repaired or use that fast repair.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Enjoy the show.
We always do is we're going to get him moved back into the Chicken Coop Racing Stable. That, of course, Andrew Teft, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here in Racers Elite. Oh, that's right. We're backwards. Here we go. As we move him on up into Chicken Coop Racing. 12 laps in the books right now, Daniel, and it's been a wild one already.
Well, it's just going to get wilder, and you're seeing these drivers now doubled up, getting ready to go on this restart. Now that they have a feel of how Talladega is running, I expect these drivers to run how they are running. Do they lay off just a little bit knowing what just happened in that wreck with Andrew Teft and Truth Hoke? Maybe, but, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to realize that.
$12 laps in the book so far. We're going to be 13 when we come back to green. And, you know, I see some of these paint schemes. I'm looking right now at that 15 car. Little Michael Waltrip action here with the Napa Auto Parts DEI paint scheme. Of course, we know that it's DEI because it's got those 3 lines there that come off the front fenders out of the wheel wells, essentially. And then one single line around that rear bumper, 2 on the front, as the iRacing.com pace car leads us out of turn number 4. Daniel, we're ready to rock.
Oh, well, I'm ready to get this race back going here. We have Sam Filippo on the inside in the 12. We have 15 of Kensley Smith on the outside. Hey, it's just going to get even more wilder. As you're seeing now, once again, these drivers not going to go green until they get into this Geico restart zone. There's the Geico restart zone. Green flag's back in the air, and Sam Filippo's leading the way here, Dave.
Brandon Sanfilippo gets a good jump, but, you know, this is one of those places that you don't want to get a big jump over everybody else because it allows everybody time to load up on those throttles and get that energy built up behind you. Sanfilippo kind of using the 15 right now with a little bit of aero push coming out of 2 and onto the back chute. This is where we're going to have to see Sanfilippo decide if he's going to go with the low line or if he's going to bring along the 15 of Kensley Smith. Now, once Smith is clear, and he is, of the 50 of the 30, we've got to wonder if they're going to move all down, and they do. Matt Metler just squeezed it in there like a jar of Aunt Betty's nut butter as he gets in there, now being timed in 4th position. So Metler starts shotgun on the field and now runs in 4th. Matt Metler here trying to hold things together. Here's what we're going to see, though. We're going to watch that 10 car of Kirby Wainscott as we zoom in over to him. Kirby Wainscott in the Kentucky Fried Chicken Chevrolet Camaro. He's chasing down Dennis Kane. He and Dennis Kane are going to have to get together here and, make nice, and he's going to have to be bump drafting Kane down the back chute. Now, we're going to watch this right here, folks. All of a sudden, Wainscott's going to draft into the rear of Kane. It won't be this time by, but probably after a couple more hits like that, as long as they maintain that close, relationship between the front bumper of Wainscott and the rear bumper of Kane, we're going to see some really good passing here coming around this time. We come out of turn 4 into the tri-oval, and just as they put the start-finish line in their sights, Wainscott's going to get another chance here to nuzzle up here to the rear of the 4 as we get ever closer down the backstretch. These drivers are going to have to keep their cool, as now we're going to see it. Here it comes. There's the bump.
Yep.
They've got to be able to get Alan Bergen in on this, as Bergen's waiting to take a hit from behind him in the 88 of Troy Thomas. Oh, and out of line steps the 10, and that's going to wreck all of that momentum that they had built up here. So for now, it's going to be Brandon Sanfilippo leading this piece with Kensley Smith, Sam Kohlhaas, and Matt Metler on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 they go, and that top line going to have to re-rack, restack, and figure out how to make another attack.
Well, the outside line with the 4 of Dennis Kane leading that line, they're going to have to get organized. That's the most important thing ever as a driver on this track. You have to be organized in order to get a good run and a great push, like you said, Dave, to get to the front. That is what they need right now, and you're seeing the difference here. That inside line is completely organized right now, and that 15 of Kenzie Smith is not leaving that rear bumper of the 12 of Sanfilippo. And if the 15 decides to pull out, let's say, that's going to hurt the 15 unless somebody behind him goes with him. So he's going to stay there until somebody makes a move or somebody's going to get that run on the outside. But so far, it looks like most of these drivers are now on the inside.
Alex Teft now riding just behind the 10 of Kirby Wainscott, as they're going to try to make another run here toward the front. Now, this time with Alex Teft pushing the way, Teft is going to give a little bit of a nudge here to the 10 as we go into 1 and 2. He's got to be able to get here against that rear bumper. Whoa! He gets a run, and my goodness. And Wainscott gets out of the way. Now Wainscott's still trying to get up here to the 4. He may not. He may simply just not be as good as some drivers are with pushing. He may be better as a pusher rather than a pushy, or maybe better as a pushy rather than a pusher.
You're going to see that driver now going to try to get that push to the forward Dennis Kane. You want to be right in the center of that bumper. You don't want to be on the core panel because that's very risky. But you're seeing here the 43 bouts. Teft has been up and down this season. He's been getting those great finishes that he needs, just hasn't won yet, but I expect him to win here soon. And I mean, they're going to need more drivers, Dave. There's no question about it. Unless they get a great amount of run or push to get to the front. I mean, I don't see it unless they have more drivers go to the outside of them.
We're going to go to a replay here. Ira Kohlhaas had a Code Brown moment just seconds ago as we were coming through the front stretch. All of a sudden, things started to bunch up over top of him. Kohlhaas got a little loose, and out of nowhere, it turned into a near disaster behind as the 20 and the 19, driven by Curtis Ecker and Diego Rodriguez, got shot up through the field like a rocket. So good for them for keeping things together. We stay green flag racing here. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus Jr. working lap number 19 of 75 here at Talladega Super Speedway. And you know, Daniel, I look at some of the records that we've seen set here at Talladega over the years, and you know, there are some huge names in NASCAR that hold these records. In fact, let's take a look here in the Cup Series. Most wins, 10, Dale Earnhardt. Most consecutive wins, 4, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Most top 5s and top 10s belongs to Dale Earnhardt with a combined 50. Dave Marcus and Terry Labonte have the most starts, each with 61. Most poles is Bill Elliott. Most laps completed is Michael Waltrip at 10,181. The most laps led goes to Dale Earnhardt at 1,377, with the average start best being Davey Allison and the best average finish here, Dale Earnhardt. So, you know, literally all of these records are littered with nothing but Hall of Famers in the NASCAR world. And, you know, those 4 wins by Dale Earnhardt Jr., those 4 consecutive wins, that is what spawned me into, you know, loving this sport and just watching somebody, you know, dominate. And they used to say that Dale Earnhardt Sr. was able to see the wind, and a lot of that is why he used to wear that open face helmet with those bubble goggles, so he could feel the wind coming off of the car in front of him. He knew exactly when to make that move and get himself around. And, you know, we're taking a look now at Kirby Wainscott and the 4 of Dennis Kane, who, you know, moments ago were kind of mired in trouble, and now all of a sudden they find themselves leading this piece. We want to welcome everybody into the YouTube.com live chat. Jason Bottoms saying, come on, and cheering Dakota on. Then Bismo saying, let's go full spend esports. Cheering on Dakota, Jason, Greg, and Thomas, and Noah too. So glad to have everybody in with us here in the YouTube.com live chat. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. And that way you can be notified every time we go racing here on SRM, of course, with one of the fine broadcast teams that we have to offer here. And we'll get into that a little while later. But, Daniel, right now, it is just a thing of beauty to watch these cars turning laps at Talladega.
Well, what I think is beauty here at Talladega is seeing those aggressive moves, aggressive blocks. I think that's what's entertaining. The big wrecks are also entertaining. But, you know, right now, you know, anybody inside top 10 right now, let's say, Dave, they might not win this race. It could be somebody like Robinson that's all the way back in last place in 21st. It could be anybody here. And that's what's very special about these drafting style tracks. I'll throw in Atlanta. I'll throw in Daytona. It's just a wild card. You don't know who's going to be there at the end. And right now, with Wainscott leading, I'm looking at drivers throughout the field that have been very strong so far. I'm looking at the 4 of Dennis Kane. Got to win earlier in Auto Club this season. He could potentially win. I see Alex Teft, Braden Zimmerman. Jason Bonds hasn't been strong this season, but he's up here contending for a win, so that's good. You know, we see the 19 of Ecker. Those are drivers right there. Those 2 drivers that I just mentioned, those are drivers that could potentially win here tonight that haven't maybe won on a mile or a half or a mile yet. You're seeing right there the 65 of Braden Zimmerman all over the place there.
We're 3 wide, and Brandon Zimmerman being shoved out of the way by Ira Kohlhaas in the 29. They get themselves sorted out. That was starting to get pretty dicey as Diego Rodriguez is shoved up to the front by Kirby Wainscott and Matt Schlosser in the 40. Now, Schlosser's already run, you know, here in the lead, of course, our pole sitter. And Schlosser now giving the shove here to Diego Rodriguez. The question becomes, does Diego stay up here on the high side and bring Schlosser along. There goes Schlosser. That opens the door for
Whoa.
Diego to move, and that's good teammate racing, so to speak. You know, that's sitting there saying, hey, listen, I'm going to let you in here. I'm going to get you some time, and, you know, and at least they can work together for the time being, you know, and try to hold off this angry pack of Hornets because, you know, even with being 1/3 of the way through this race, the race genuinely has not begun yet. We won't even see some big moves until much later on here in this competition.
That outside line now getting that good run. You're seeing that great push there to the 65. Brayton Zimmerman, look how far out he is. Oh, okay. They're going to keep it going there. They're going to move down to the inside. They're dragging the 29 Ira Kohlhaas. You see Brandon Honeycutt down there now. I mean, this is the moves that were risky there. And I saw it right there, 65. I thought he was going to get clipped, but he didn't. And now look who's on the outside. It's the 59 Truth Hoke, the 15th Kensley Smith. Now they're going to try to get a push to get out in front of the 65 and possibly go down in front of them to take the lead.
Yeah, we're going to watch Truth Hoke here getting the bump from Kensley Smith. Now they've got Matt Mettler in tow. Mettler's going to have to get just a little bit closer here to Smith. There it is. There's the bump. So obviously Mettler knows that he can bump Kensley Smith. That allows Kensley Smith now to come up here and give another love tap here to the 59 of Truth Hoke. Now, the question becomes when Hoke gets up here, because it's going to happen, as now the 19 of Curtis Ecker and the 12 of Brandon Sanfilippo get in on this dance. Does Truth Hoke stay up here and wait until he gets Mettler in front of the 65? Oh, Kensley Smith just gave him the old crossover. Now, it's all up to Matt Mettler and the 59 of Truth Hoke, as now Mettler's going to be driving like he's a little bit angry here. Oh, my God, he's shoving him all the way down the backstretch. Look at Matty Too Fatty go. Oh, my God, he's going to split him. Oh, no.
He gets turned.
Oh, Matt. Oh, my goodness. Caution number 2.
I don't know if Allen was in that, but I think I saw Allen's car get through.
Oh, we're going to have to watch this again, and it's going to be painful. They went four. Oh, Robinson bumped into the 15. Oh. Let's see.
That is a shame.
Now, they chose to go 4 wide, and really Smith could have checked up. Was that neck code?
I think it was.
Let's
That's
take
at least
another
a good
look
foot
here. That may have actually been neck code, because I don't think they ever touched. Let's watch this again. They never touched.
It looks like it was at least 8 inches more, maybe.
We're going to go to the right front here.
Oh, no, that definitely looks like net code, Dave.
We're going to take one more look at this.
Watch the 15 hit the quarter panel.
I'm going to go back here. They're not going to be able to hear you right now, but I'm going to go right back here. We're going to go to the right front of the 15, wherever I find him here, of Kensley Smith. And we're going to go to the right front suspension, because I don't think, as we come back here onto the live stream, oh, for crying out loud. The intro music decided it wanted to play out of nowhere. We're going to go right here, and we're going to see if the 15 ever actually made contact, or if this was net code. Watch with me here, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, and here we go. We're going to go 4 wide right about here. It's going to make contact with the 15. They're going to slide up the track.
Yeah.
Net code.
It's net code.
There it is. Yeah, good foot, at least. That is a shame.
Race control coming over race radio, claiming that this is going to be scored as a racing deal. That's all well and good. I wanted to make sure that we could see that, Robinson here in the 8. I mean, let's go back here. I think he held himself down pretty well, as we're going to have to page back quite a ways. We're going to watch Gregory Robinson here, as he's going to hold himself down. Now, Robinson is against the yellow line. Kensley Smith chose to go up and around him, nearly rubbed him. And then Netco got Mettler. Yeah, you know what? Robinson did a heck of a job keeping himself out of the way.
Well, I think that's what he was trying to do, but he saw that there were 3 cars coming behind him. He had nowhere to go, so he just had to stay down there, and he did pretty well. I mean, I don't think he did anything wrong.
When we go back, green flag racing as the iRacing.com pace car comes on down the front stretch. It's going to be Diego Rodriguez, Truth Hoke, Curtis Eckert, Brandon Honeycutt, Dennis Kane, your top 5. Kirby Wainscott, Sam Kohlhaas, Alex Teft, Noah Tansman, and Troy Thomas as we get ready to go here. Of course, it's still showing Diego Rodriguez as being in the pit. That's great timing and scoring. As we welcome everybody in here once again to the YouTube.com live chat. Make sure that you let us know what you're watching and, of course, who you're pulling for tonight. "21 drivers took the green flag. 20 drivers still turning laps. Gregory Robinson being down 1 lap, so another caution could be just enough to get him back onto the lead lap. Matt Schlosser, however, he's down pit road and has decided to put it on the hauler for the time being, as it just doesn't seem like things worked out for the 40 tonight after starting, way back up there on the pole.
Yeah, I mean, whoever thought the 20 of Rodriguez would be up here after what's been going on here. We're on lap 29 now, 75, Dave. Let's take a look at our pit stop strategy here. If you want to go over
looks
quick.
like everybody has now come down and they're all on the same pit cycle. They all came down here on lap 27. I mean, literally everybody. From Diego Rodriguez all the way down to Schlosser, and Teft actually came down on 28. But, this top 10, everybody on the same tires. Now, with this amount of time left in the race, they're going to have to make one more stop, I believe. As
yes.
I don't think that you can go the whole way on another 45 laps. If you can, it's going to be closer than a razor's edge, that's for sure. As Diego Rodriguez brings us into the Geico restart zone momentarily here. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. We get into the Geico restart zone. Diego drops the hammer, and we are underway.
Diego Rodriguez leading the pack here in the turns 1 and 2. You saw 13, Brandon Honeycutt making a move early, and he's dropped down to 5th now.
Watching these cars get back up to speed as they haul it out of turn 2 and down the back chute now. Everybody nice and level here. Just Ira Kohlhaas stepping out of line. He may be trying to go toward the rear as we come in here. Kohlhaas now right in front of the 15 of Kensley Smith. Those two battled it out last week at Rockingham. It looks like they're working together tonight to try to get something done here at Talladega. Dave Riegel and Daniel Paulus Jr. with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We've got 6 nights of racing right now on SRM, Daniel, and I mean, there's a few of us who are just downright busy. Now tonight, of course, we're the only game in town here in prime time as Racers Elite Cup Series action kicked off at 7:30. We're off tomorrow night, but then Saturday night, ISNF kicks off at 5:30 p.m. with Liam, Mike, and Alan Then the nightcap on Saturday, 9 p.m., is Liam and Emily. Then, of course, yours truly back with you on Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series action with myself and Matt Metler at the microphone. And, of course, Saturday will be rotating producers for the time being. Then Monday, of course, we have the SCL Series at 9 p.m. with Alan and yourself, Daniel. Then the SNN Xfinity Series with yours truly here at the microphone. Tuesday is Racers Elite once again with John and Rick. Then SNN Truck Series with yours truly once again. Then the Extreme Series at 9 p.m. with Liam and Jordan in the Western States Racing League with Mike and Alan. Wednesday nights features Roughneck Racing at 7 p.m. with Alan and Angel. Then Racers Elite once again at 7:30 p.m. with Mike all by his lonesome. Then the Extreme Cup Series at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night to finish out our 6-day work week here. And, you know, things are just downright busy for Sim Racing Media, and it's just a good time to be part of this team as we take a look here.
Oh, baby.
Watch Ira Kohlhaas and Kensley Smith here on the high side. They've got Truth Hoke in the middle. We go 3 wide for 2 rows, almost 3 in a row. The person right now that I would not want to be is Troy Thomas in the 88, as he is just waiting for something bad to happen. We see Kensley Smith giving a bump now to Ira Kohlhaas. They're desperately trying to get themselves around Truth Hoke in the 59. Right now, everybody kind of behaving themselves here. We're going to drop right down here onto the nose of the 88 of Troy Thomas and look and see what he can see. My God. This is definitely not what you want to see from the driver's perspective. Cars to the left of me, cars to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with Troy Thomas.
No. Hey. Look who's to the left there, Dave. It's our own Alan Bergen there. Charging to the front.
Look at Alan racing and stuff. Proud of you. Getting himself way up here right now in the 89. Running in 6th position. We'll go over here and take a peek at him, as he's going to run here just ahead of that 3 wide nightmare. And they're still running 3 wide. I mean, you know, this is some exciting racing, all things considered, when we drop the camera back here. I mean, right now, Truth Hoke and, there goes the 88, calming things down. Truth Hoke's going to go to the high side. I feel like we're going to, oh, no.
Holy moly.
No, that's a game show on ABC. Holy moly. That's my
15.
God. Let's take a look and see what happened here with the 15 and the 20.
Well, let's take a look at this replay here. You see him going down the back straightaway. 15, Kensley Smith on the outside. Speed up a little bit. My.
It looks like it may have happened in front of him with the
Looks
20.
like the 43.
Let's see.
Started with the 43. I know that.
Let me go here. I can't make my hands move any faster. Doing my best, folks.
Well, there's the 43 of Alex Taft.
Gonna see if we can take a peek from our eye in this. Alex Taft
came
may
up
have
a little
gotten
bit.
a little loose there and just slid up into the 20 and collected a few drivers.
20 got Eric Almirola. Oh, 15.
I want to try to get a hold of Troy Thomas right now, because what they were just doing for such a long period of time is incredible, no matter who you are or, you know, what your race level is. And, of course, I can't find Troy Thomas, who had some of the most exciting racing we've seen in a long time. We're going to try to get maybe the 59 of Truth Hoke. And, of course, Hoke is missing as well. Down pit road they come. Mass pit stops underway. And while these drivers come in for pit service, we're going to take a look up here at Brandon Honeycutt, Ira Kohlhaas, and Truth Hoke, as well as Sam Kohlhaas, We're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. He's Daniel Paulus. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones right here on SRM.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Apromitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway, where the Racers Elite Next-Gen Cup Series is going green flag racing after our 3rd caution of the evening. As Brandon Honeycutt going to be our race leader now with Ira Kohlhaas and Sam Kohlhaas in tow. Sam Kohlhaas here in the 30. He's going to get a little bump here from Noah Tansman. We're going to ride along with Tansman right now as these drivers get up to speed. As Waltham, Massachusetts native Noah Tansman gets himself up here. We're going to see him close in here on the Wounded Warrior number 30. Maybe a little bit of a bump. He gets off the throttle just enough so he doesn't wind up accidentally wrecking the 30.
Be very, very careful here in the 56. Saw how the car in front of him got loose.
Troy Thomas kind of in no man's land right now, waiting for somebody to come up and give him a shove. Looks like that shove may have to come in the form of Alan Bergen and Matt Mettler, as Bergen's running just a little too far in front of Mettler for Mettler to be able to close in on him and give him the shove that he needs. But we're going to watch these two drivers suddenly tighten up. Here comes Mettler with a run out of 2, and now he's got to be able to close in right here on Alan Bergen. We're going to see him give him the shove. Here it comes. He got out of the throttle. He backed off. He didn't want to give him the push.
Hey, wouldn't it be a story if our own Alan Bergen won the victory lane here tonight?
Don't be jinxing it just yet, buddy. We got a long way to go, about 37 to go.
37 is a long way for these drivers. Alan Bergen inside at top 5. He's staying inside top 5, and our own Matt Mettler right there battling side by side. And there's the 12 of San Filippo. Look at a big push from the 29 Ira Kolas.
And a big checkup from Matt Mettler as he had to get out of the throttle fast so he wouldn't wind up killing anybody. They go 3 wide once again. The 88 of Troy Thomas in the middle of this mess. We go up here to the eye in the sky as suddenly we see the 19 of Curtis Ecker making his way here on the bottom. What that does, though, is it shuffles things around and it leaves Mettler kind of in no man's land once again. He's going to need a push from Curtis Ecker to try to get himself up closer to teammate Alan Bergen. As right now, the way that it runs, it's Honeycutt, Kohlhaas, Tansman, Bergen, Mettler, your top 5. Don't look now, though. Brandon Sanfilippo here in the 4. He's suddenly, in the 12, is suddenly getting some help from Ira Kohlhaas.
You want to be careful here. Careful. That outside line, they're wiggling all over the place. You're seeing the 29 pushing in the corner. And not a good then. Don't do that, Iron Kohlhaas. I'm telling you, don't do it. You keep it straight, though, as they're heading down the back straightaway here on lap 41. That inside line still has the edge over that outside. And most of these drivers are on the inside, so that's what's helping them. But if the 29 keeps wiggling around like that and not getting the good pushes that the 12 needs, they're not going to get up to the front.
Yeah, Matt Mettler right now being scored in 5th. He's going to need some help here from the 19 of Curtis Ecker. That top line is starting to become more and more organized as we're going to take a ride along here with the 98 of Andrew Teft, as we're going to go right here to the roll bar inside the 98 and see what he can see here. As we take a peek coming out of 2 and down the back chute. Teft right now trying to get this line formed up. We can see some of the bumping and banging here, and that's mostly the suspensions, just taking some of the bumps in this old racetrack, because, of course, this racetrack has been around for decades here on the NASCAR circuit. And, I mean, this is one of the most historic tracks that we have. Talladega, of course, opened way back, of course, in 1969. First race here was September 13th, 54 years ago. And back then it was named Alabama International Motor Speedway.
Interesting. Alabama International Speedway.
Write that down. 3 wide they go with the 12 right in the middle of the 43 of Alex Teft here. Alex Teft and the 12 of Brandon Sanfilippo kind of off on their own. All of a sudden, shooting down here on the low side was Dennis Kane. Kane comes out of the low line. He's going to collect, it looks like in front of him, it's going to be the 10 of Kirby Wainscott. And he's going to bring along Ira Kohlhaas and Kensley Smith in the 15 just behind. So good racing all over the track tonight, as Brandon Honeycutt hasn't been down since lap number 27. So as we pull up our pit strategy, we're going to see that some of these drivers have older tires, literally double the length older tires. Honeycutt and Kohlhaas, and Sam Kohlhaas, each having 16 laps on their respective racing machines. Then Tansman all the way down through Kane each have 8 laps on those cars. So, pit strategy starting to play a factor here, as that's going to determine how much fuel is in the car. What that fuel load happens to be. Make the car lighter, make it go a little faster, make it handle a little bit better. Plus those tires are going to be wearing out just a little bit. 1% of tire wear here at Talladega is like 8%. at some of our 1.5-mile tracks.
Well, don't forget, this track is very big. It's over 2 miles long. I mean, it's the biggest track on the NASCAR circuit right now. It's a super speedway. And look to the outside right now. It looks like they're back up here contending for the race lead.
Heather Hokegrove in our youtube.com live chat cheering on Rodriguez as we're going to take
Wayne Scott.
Oh my.
He's clear. He can go down. The 4 of Dennis Kane can go down if he wants, but it's closing up fast and it doesn't look like it. Oh, they're still out there pretty good.
Yeah, setting themselves up for an incredible attack here at the start-finish line are these drivers. As we come through the start-finish line area, nobody's really ready to give up here early as we listen to the sounds of these things roaring past. And, you know, there's got to be something to be said about the sound of these race cars all wound up, all running wide open, and it just sounds like an angry pack of hornets running around this 2.66-mile oval.
Well, Dave, you know what I was thinking? Should we do a crank it up session for some of these fans so they can hear these engines? As Ira Kohlhaas is making his way into the tri-oval. He's leading that top line there with the 10 of Wayne Scott leading away on the inside, getting a push from the 4 of Dennis Kane. Going into turn number 1, if they want to get back up to the front, they're going to have to get that push, but looks like everybody vice versa now is on the outside than when they were on the inside early on.
47 laps in the books, just about 29 to go now. As we work lap number 47, Ira Kohlhaas, your race leader, he's got a rear view mirror full of Kensley Smith, and we're going to see just how close Kensley is here to the rear bumper at the Compass Cocktail Bar number 29 Chevrolet Camaro, as Kensley's going to haul it out of turn 4. These two drivers are going to try to hold themselves up here on the second line, so there's still some traffic below them, but right now they're making the high side kind of work. As we take a peek here just behind Kensley Smith, everybody holding themselves in line, and this is a thing of beauty, to be completely honest, Daniel. I mean, when everybody's able to hold it coming through that turn, no wiggles, no wobbles, it just looks right.
It sure does. Right on board the 15th, Kensley Smith. Currently sitting in second there. Look at that right there, Dave. They're going almost 200 miles per hour here in 5th gear. And watch this speed pick up as they go into the tri-oval.
Yeah, he's going to be kissing 198 before they get down to the end of the tri-oval, or before they get down to the end of the front stretch here, as he's going to draft up right behind Kohlhaas and give Kohlhaas a bump going into 1. That should give them the edge right now to get themselves a nice healthy distance away from leading that bottom line in the 10 car, Kirby Wayne Scott, as we're going to ride along with Wayne Scott here. You can see that he can smell the lead, but he just can't get there for the time being. But, you know, one of the things to remember on a racetrack like this is you don't want to use your equipment up too soon. Here in this particular race, you don't want to have to use your fast repair too soon. So, you know, for a lot of these drivers, especially your Kirby Wayne Scotts, you know, your Dennis Kanes, you know that you've got a car that can get up there and lead. It's a matter of waiting your turn and getting up there, you know, patiently rather than aggressively.
Well, let's not forget, Dave, some of these drivers that could be sitting here in 3rd, 4th, 5th place. Let's go all the way back to even 6th or 7th. And let's say we're coming to the white flag. They may not be leading that white flag, but they may come out leader at the end of this race. That's how big this track is. That's how strong the draft is. And, you know, sometimes drivers that win, they get through wrecks on the final laps. Sometimes drivers win if they get a really strong push at the end. So it all matters how this builds up towards the end. We might see a photo finish. I've seen one before. That would be pretty cool if we saw one here tonight. You're seeing right here, we're on lap 50, so we're getting closer and closer to the end. So I'm anticipating that this is going to start ramping up a little bit more each lap.
Yeah, that anticipation is building as we work here on lap number 51, 25 to the end now as we cross the start-finish line. And, to your point, there isn't a whole lot of time, but you can move or, you can gain or lose a lot of spots with one little accident or one little flick of the wrist. As, a lot of these drivers, they're hungry for that first win of the season. And it's actually how I've seen many races end here, as mayhem breaks loose right before the start-finish line and half the field wrecks, while one driver from way back in the hayback suddenly just goes up and literally steals a win away.
Now on lap 52, the outside has the advantage. This inside's got to do something. They got to figure something out here. I mean, if I was the 10 of Wayne Scott, I don't know what I would do, but there goes the 311 of Matt Mettler, just flipping the rails right there, going to the inside. He's going to hop down in front of the 10 of Wayne Scott. Going to try to sniff that clean air there, trying to get to the lead.
Yeah, Matt Mettler now getting a good push from Kirby Wayne Scott coming into 3 and 4. And it looks like Mettler's going to try to hold his own and maybe get this lower line to where they can compete with the high side. Now, the interesting thing is when Kensley Smith and Ira Kohlhaas realize that that's what's going on, we're going to have to be very careful as we're going to take a ride here on the left rear suspension.
Looks like Zimmerman was thinking of going to the inside there. Patience is key on drafting style tracks. Do not rush it.
.54 laps in the books. Ira Kohlhaas, your race leader. He's got Kensley Smith in tow and Brandon Zimmerman just behind. 1, 2, 3 they go. Brandon Sanfilippo and Matt Mettler starting to kind of creep in here as Mettler has been steady in 5th position after starting shotgun on the field. It looks like right now Alan Bergen, our teammate here at Sim Racing Media, running in 14th position, while Troy Thomas and Truth Hoke run up here in 10th and 11th. So we're not done with Truth Hoke yet. Hoke was involved earlier in a mess and, has himself all cleaned up nice and running tight. So, for a lot of these drivers, I think that we're going to get to a point where, enough is enough. It's time to go.
Oh, you'll know when that happens. We're going to see 3 wide. We might see possibly 4 wide. I've seen it here. I've seen it work. But when you start noticing them getting a little aggressive, going 3 wide, it's time to go. I mean, because when you're a driver, Dave, you're not even thinking about how many laps you are. You're just thinking what's going on around you. But when that spotter tells you, okay, 10 to go, 5 to go, then your anxiety starts get going. And that's when you start making those moves. And that's where a mistake could happen.
$20 laps to go as we pull those standings back out here on the left side of your screen. Kohlhaas, Smith, Zimmerman, top 3. They've got Sanfilippo and Mettler. Now, the way that this low line looks, I think we're going to see most of these drivers kind of hang out and let the chips fall where they will. This isn't the time in the race where you want to sit there and get too aggressive, because now with 20 to go, you've got to keep good care of that equipment, and at the same time you've got to keep your head screwed onto your shoulders. If you start to freak out a little bit, bad things are going to happen.
And you know, it's a smart thing to do, Dave. If you know that you're 3 wide, you're in the middle, and if you can back out, back out. I mean, don't risk it. I mean, there's always another opportunity, but if you see a different line that you can use, and you're 3 wide, and you want to know that there's possibly going to be a wreck, you can back out of that, go another line, and potentially use that to your advantage. I mean, do not risk it if you think you're not going to get it done. I mean, that's in my opinion.
19 to go now. Ira Kohlhaas leading this piece. He's going to bring along Kensley Smith and Brandon Zimmerman. Right now, Smith, the meat in that sandwich, taking his sweet time to get around this piece because he doesn't want to wreck anything. At this point, you know, he doesn't want to flinch. He doesn't want to have a bad rest of the day here. As we look back at our biggest mover in the point standings, Jason Bottoms here in the 57. You know, tap that 57 sometimes to make the ketchup come out, as he's got the Case Chevrolet Camaro cranked up here in 10th position.
18 laps remaining here, starting to wind down lap after lap here. Everybody within a second of each other. You see Alan Bergen there in the 89 going to the inside. That 88 of Thomas is just out there to dry right now because he has nobody to help him.
Yeah, this is a racetrack where friendships are forged and rivalries are born, for sure. I mean, you know, you might be out there thinking that all things look fine, everything's okay, as we're going to have green flag pit stops right now. As in pit road, my goodness, Ira Kohlhaas, Kensley Smith, Brandon Sanfilippo, Brandon Zimmerman, Dakota Bly, Jason Bottoms, Brandon Honeycutt, Gregory Robinson, Noah Tansman, Alan Bergen, and Sam Kohlhaas all come down pit road, 9th through 19th. Now, that's going to flip the field for a little while. That's going to allow our teammate, Matt Metler, to cycle himself up here into the lead with Truth Hoke in tow. I don't think they've got enough fuel up here to try to go the distance. Or if they do, they're going to have to squeeze every last drop out of these cars. As right now we're working lap number 59, 17 to go, and it's got to be close for Metler, Hoke, and Wayne Scott.
It's going to be about the go time. Here they come down pit road. Easy, do not speed. It's very tricky here to get on pit road without speeding. And Matt Metler leads the way. They're double wide behind him. And it looks like Matt Metler's going to go into his pit right about now. Let's see what he gets done.
It's going to be 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast for the 311. Wayne Scott, Hoke, Teft, Eckert, Thomas, and Kane in with Metler. As Metler, no, he just took fuel only. He got a splash of Go Fast and is off once again. These drivers think that they can get this done all at once.
Wayne Scott,
as Metler's going to come out behind Wayne Scott. Now, you got to remember, as the other drivers are just crossing the start-finish line here, we're suddenly going to see, here it comes, it's going to take a long, at least a lap and a half, 2 laps for these cars to get back up to speed. So Wayne Scott and Metler have to really keep their act together to try to stay ahead of those cars. Here they come, down the back chute, side by side. The whole field gets back together. Listen, Daniel, this is something that I've never seen do perfect, and it just, wow. The front half of the field, or the back half of the field comes in first. The front half of the field comes in second, and they both come back onto the track almost at the perfect time now to make the run to the end, 16 to go.
Hey, Dave, remember when I said Robinson could win this race?
Yeah, that was a
good
time. He's
inside top 3.
He is. Robinson being scored P2 right now. It's Gregory Robinson just behind Jason Bottoms. Big mover in the point standings. Now big mover in the race, up 12. Metler up 14.
Race is on.
Gregory Robinson, it goes Bottoms, Robinson, and Tansman. 1, 2, 3 they go. Kirby, Wayne Scott, Sanfilippo, and Matt Metler, your top 6, as they are all side by side one more time here at Talladega Superspeedway. 15 laps to go. I can't get over what we just saw here with green flag pit stops. I mean, literally the perfect
I've never
pit
seen it.
cycle.
I've never seen it like that in my life. That was just perfect. That was just 100% perfect. Never seen it.
Jason Bottoms active in our YouTube.com live chat as they come around to take 14 to go. The 8 all over the rear of the 57 of Jason Bottoms. Nobody could have ever guessed that that's what we were about to see.
Our top 10 has changed since the start. We have Jason Bombs, Robinson in second, Tensman in third, Matt Metler, Kane, Thomas, Wayne Scott, Teft, and Ecker. I mean, these are drivers that weren't even inside the top 10 early on in this race to begin with, and here they are, 14 laps to go, with any of them winning. I mean, this is why we say it's a wild card race.
And it has been a wild race, Daniel. I mean, you know, everything that we've seen 3 wide, all but 4 wide racing. You know, Gregory Robinson down a lap, involved in a wreck we've had net code. We've literally seen everything you possibly can at a super speedway here on iRacing.com tonight. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus Jr. here in the SRM broadcast booth, the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth, of course, named for my late great partner and my mentor, my brother from another mother, my BFF. And I'll tell you what, man, he would be having a blast tonight watching this.
Yes, he would. He always loved this style of racing. And there's a lap car on the top there. Just off pace.
Jason Bottoms with full control of the low side here with 12 laps to go. Noah Tansman and Matt Metler, Troy Thomas all linked up. As Thomas right now in the 88 kind of in a scary little situation here. He could slide up and try to move with that high line and get shoveled out to the front here. Or better yet, he could wind up, you know, riding out here and finishing in the top 5. Anything is possible with 12 to go at Talladega.
Hey, it's just gonna get more ramped up. I'm telling you, I'm calling it. We might literally see a photo finish. I just have that feeling tonight. I really do. Dennis Kane's still leading that outside.
Right now, the driver with the best chance right now is who you picked earlier to finish very well tonight, and that's Gregory Robinson.
Hey, what can I say? Stuff happens.
Yeah, you're like Jambi from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Are you even old enough to remember Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I remember Pee-wee's movies, but I don't remember the Playhouse.
Every Saturday morning.
I know the movies. I just I know what you're talking about.
Jambi was the genie in the box, and when Pee-wee would have a wish, he would grant the wish by having Pee-wee repeat the magic phrase after him. Mecca lecca hi, mecca hiney ho. Mecca lecca hi, mecca ho ho ho. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
As a kid, it was great.
Hey, look at the 4.
Jason Bottoms now trying to hold. I'll tell you what, this almost looks like those mid-2000s when you were able to drift between the top and the bottom. All of a sudden,
yes.
The 4 of Dennis Kane bringing Kirby Wayne Scott along. And don't look now, Alex Teft doing the same thing as Teft trying to give Wayne Scott the shove to see if these 3 drivers can maybe drop right down in front of the 57 of Jason Bottoms.
Whoa.
They do. Here goes Teft. Teft drops down now. He's waiting.
Oh.
The 4 gets hung out to dry. We stay green flag racing. Teft just swung it here up into turn number 3 ever so gently from down there on the apron. My goodness.
It's not over. Dennis King can still possibly get. I don't know. Is he out of the draft, Dave?
He held on to it. Alex Teft, suddenly your race leader, as we've got 10 laps to go, 9 at the line. As it goes Teft, Bottoms, Robinson, Sanfilippo, Tansman, your top 5. Andrew Teft shuffled all the way back to 12th position. Ira Kohlhaas, who was contending early in this race, back in 15th. But with 9 laps to go, 15th is not a long drive anymore here at Talladega.
Hey, this is far from over. This is just getting started. I mean, look at the 8 is literally still inside the top 3. There goes Jason Bombs to the outside. Let's see what happens here. They're going to be neck and neck coming off of turn number 4. Look at Kensley Smith going 3 wide here of Matt Metler.
3 wide. All of a sudden, the 57 of Jason Bottoms sinking through. Kensley Smith coming to the top with Brandon Zimmerman and Matt Mettler. New
Holy
leader.
moly.
You can put it on the board. Yes.
That is literally a rocket ship.
Yeah, I got to say, I've never seen something quite like that, as these drivers have really organized themselves well here tonight. Getting the bump from the 65 is Kensley Smith. Now, all of a sudden, they're literally bumping themselves like it's watching an accordion or a slinky almost, as they just kind of hit one another, and that perpetual motion shoves these cars ever further down the racetrack, getting through turns 3 and 4. This is what Talladega is all about. This is what super speedway racing is all about. It's about working together, but then at the very end here, you're going to wind up having to leave someone out to dry and let them cook here in the hot Alabama sun.
Oh, let's see what happens here. I mean, there goes the 8. I was just going to mention, does somebody go high, get that outside line going again? Because this is a pretty dead even situation here. You have enough cars on the outside, enough cars on the inside. Well, I mean, with the Zimmerman pushing to 15, we saw them earlier on. They hook up so well together. But the question is, do they get too far out front to where the point, somebody's going to get that run on them?
Mettler's got to be able to shake hands with Alex Teft here and say, listen, buddy, when we get closer here to this end, we're going to need to work together to get up top. Now, what Mettler may be hoping for is you can almost see Alex Teft here in the 43 loading up. And right now he's just trying to get some rounds in the chamber as he suddenly got Gregory Robinson on the high side. Mettler's going to need Teft to draw in closer, and the two of them are going to have to move almost simultaneously to the high side.
Okay, I don't know. Is there damage on that car? I saw some pieces flying.
It was a bug.
Oh, well, anyway. You see
Alex
right there
Teft
the 8 of Robinson?
Go ahead.
Seeing the 8 of Robinson out there trying to take that outside lead. I think they're going to have 2 more shots at this. And if so, they're going to have to. Matt Mettler all over the place trying to block the 8 Robinson's run. And that's not going to do anything. And there they are up to the lead again. They're closing in on our Alan Bergenair. So Alan's probably going to have to move out of the way.
If Alan doesn't move out of the way, he's going to be everybody's worst nightmare. As Matt Mettler trying to draw himself ever close. See, now Mettler's... Oh, my God. That's going to ruin Mettler's race if he doesn't get back up here. Whoa!
Oh!
Out of nowhere is Jason Bottoms in the 57 flying back down.
And
here they go!
88's around.
Everybody's around.
Oh, Robinson, come on, man. You almost had it. Man, that car's destroyed there. Yeah, broken toe link. Broken toe link there for Wayne Scott. That Kentucky Fried Chicken is pretty much fried here tonight from Talladega, but we're going to take a look at this replay here. And here they come into turn number 3, Dave.
Now, we're going to see the 10 of Kirby Wainscott wash up into Gregory Robinson and spin him. Now, Robinson facing the wrong way. They go up against the wall. Several drivers able to squirt on by, but that's definitely going to end things here. Oh, my. For Gregory Robinson, Andrew Teft able to squirt away as well in the 98. That is not the way that you wanted your night to finish if you were Gregory Robinson. Let's take a look at it from Troy Thomas's perspective. Troy Thomas can see this happening. He goes down and just barely catches. Oh my. Four laps to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to get ourselves ready for NASCAR overtime. We're going to take one quick break here under caution, and we'll be right back on Sim Racing Media.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. Just our 4th caution of the night here, but it could not have come at a less opportune time here on lap number 74. As, we just had Gregory Robinson bite the big one here. Kensley Smith, your race leader, followed by Brandon Zimmerman, Jason Bottoms, Alex Teft, Andrew Teft, Matt Mettler running in P5 right now. And I'll tell you what, Daniel, we're getting ready for NASCAR overtime. What that means, folks, is that we're going to take the green flag. We're going to try to race around without a caution. If the white flag flies, we will race back to checkers. If the caution should come out between the green flag and the white flag, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again here at Talladega. But this has been an incredible night so far for these drivers, and I could not be more excited to see the end of this race play out.
Well, I'm just on the edge of my seat at this point, Dave. I'm so pumped up. I'm ready. I think this is what everybody looks forward to. At super speedways, no matter what super speedway we're at, everybody's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have a big one, we're gonna have a normal race. But I think this is the part where everybody gets very, very excited and looks forward to, because they don't know who's gonna win. That is what we are looking for, and that's exactly what we're gonna get here tonight in overtime here, with Zimmerman and Smith leading the way. But again, if they get to the white flag and they wreck, they will race back, and whoever's out front will win this race. So it doesn't have to be the top 2 that win this race. It could be anybody in the top 10, basically.
Drivers getting ready to enter the Geico restart zone. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Kensley Smith hits the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer. Green flag waves, and we're back underway. NASCAR overtime in effect. Kensley Smith and Jason Bottoms take the lead. They're going to bring along Matt Mettler here in the top 3, and they are going to have to drive their hearts out as that top line is going to start gaining some momentum and building up steam. Mettler's going to have to really stay glued to the rear bumper of the 57.
Watch at 311 and Matt Mettler sitting there in 3rd on the inside line. Oh, wow.
They're going to check up. The 65 checks up.
Zimmerman's around.
We're under caution. So here we go. one more time. The 65 checked up, and bad things happen for everybody else. Let's take a look here. Now watch the 65. He's got Teft in his rear view. The 57 looks like he's going to go up, and the 57 of Jason Bottoms looks like he's going to go up, and Zimmerman checks up. We're going to look at this again from Zimmerman's roof cam, because I'll tell you what, I think Zimmerman went to make the safe move and, just couldn't get out of Jason Bottoms' way. We're going to watch Bottoms. Bottoms goes to throw the block, realizes he can't. Kensley Smith moves up to make the block, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite. I got to do it. I've done my very best not to get in his head, but it's time. It is time to talk to my brother from another mother, my partner in Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action, Mr. Matt Metler. Buddy, listen, this is go time.
This is go time, and what a race it was, Dave. These guys plate race so damn good. Only one, that's it. It's over. Come on back.
Well, it looks like I miscounted here, so we're going to have Kensley Smith is going to be scored as the winner. We're going to move Matt Metler down here into the waiting room. Sorry, Matt, you're going to have to wait.
It's okay.
As I thought we had a second green-white checker attempt, but Kensley Smith, congratulations, getting ready to cross the start-finish line as the checkered flag will wave alongside of the yellow flag. We will finish under caution here as they get ready to cross. The iRacing.com pace car comes across Kensley Smith, Gene Bottoms, and Matt Metler, netting himself a podium finish tonight behind Smith and Bottoms.
I mean, congratulations to all three of them that finished in the top three. But, I mean, look who finished second, Dave. Jason Bottoms. That's exactly what he needed here tonight.
Yeah, he already jumped up a bunch of spots last week in our point standings, and now tonight is definitely going to be moving up even further as we've got Matt Metler in the waiting room. Now we need to get Kensley Smith in the waiting room, and we're going to look for Jason Bottoms as well. So, Daniel, we're going to get a chance now to talk with Kensley Smith, our race winner. Hey, Kensley, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
How's it going?
It's going good for me. I have to apologize. I thought that we had a second green-white checker attempt, and it turned out to be a one-and-done kind of deal here. Congrats on the win. I mean, sometimes it kind of stinks to finish under caution, but at the same time, you're locked in. You don't got to battle it out real hard. Cross the start-finish line, call it a day.
Yeah, it was. I wish we could have made it to the end. Tonight was really fun. Finding different lines to get good runs in. The third line would get a good run at one point, and then the bottom line would get a tremendous run, and then that middle line would get a tremendous run. This was probably one of the funnest Talladegas that we've had, to me. So I'm glad I got the win. Zimmerman was behind me, my teammate, if I needed that push, so it worked out.
Yeah, workout it did. I mean, it can't get much better than, looking around and seeing teammates and helpers and everybody to get you across the start-finish line. And, I mean, as I look back here at, what we've had the last couple of weeks here in the Cup Series, I mean, it's basically gone, you, Colehouse, and now you again. So, you've taken 2 out of the last 4 races. What's that going to mean as, now we look a little bit deeper into the season? You lead the point standings, and you're going to extend that lead tonight.
Just trying to be consistent. I think that's the main key. Top 5s are the goal every single race, no matter what. I think as long as I stay consistently towards the front and get good finishes, I think have a good chance at winning the championship with IRA. he's one of my teammates as well. So good team wins going on. We're getting good consistent runs out of everybody on the team. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this next week we go to Watkins Glen, you know, followed by Dover. Now, you know, obviously Watkins Glen, a totally different racetrack, a totally different animal, so to speak. You know, it is our one road course here in the regular season, and really just one road course overall. What are you thinking as we're going to prepare to go road course racing?
Practice. I know Watkins Glen pretty well. Raced on it a lot, not just in the Cup cars. So it's just making sure that this boat, because this vehicle right here on road courses is a boat. It is tremendously heavy. So you have to make sure you get slowed down before going into corners and stuff like that. So just making sure that I get my brake points correct and continue and just to continue to build on that, just practicing that's all that is.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations again on the win here tonight. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run?
Of course, my wife and my daughter let me do this and supporting me. You guys for putting on the broadcast for us, and Andrew for putting on the league. And then, of course, my teammate, Driving Extreme Inc. Thanks for the pushes from Ira, Kohlhaas, Sam Kohlhaas, Brandon Honeycutt, Brandon Sanfilippo, and Brandon Zimmerman. We've all worked well together, especially tonight. At least one person was around the other teammate all night, so we were able to really get good runs here.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations on the win tonight, and we will see you next week at Watkins Glen.
Thank you.
Thank you, as we're going to move him back on down here. And Daniel, I believe right now you should have Mr. Jason Bottoms, driver the number 57.
How you doing?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I'm down here with the 57 of Jason Bottoms, who finished second here at Talladega here tonight. Jason, what was it like out there on track tonight?
It was the most intense race I've been a part of in the Nextgen for sure. That was like Martinsville in real life. Just couldn't pass. Super hard to manifest a run. And I thought we had the run there at the end, but unfortunately, just half a car length short.
Well, we saw it all from 3 wide to 4 wide. We saw aggressive blocking, aggressive moves being made. We saw some wrecks that were expected here on super speedways, especially here at Talladega. How was your car handling tonight? How was it in the draft? How was it outside the draft? And how were the moves?
For sure. Definitely when you were in like the back of the pack, it was nearly impossible to get a run. You really needed to be somewhere in the middle pack and definitely be in the middle to high groove. The bottom lane just stalled out way too much trying to do that unless you had a whole line committed like we did there with about 6-7 laps to go.
Well, let me just say this to you, Jason. This is a great day for you getting a top 3, finishing second here at Talladega, getting good points here, which is needed for you to continue here later on this season. But now that Talladega is out of the way, I mean, what are your expectations for the rest of the season now moving forward?
I think we get back into the swing of some better tracks for myself. I think we got some 1.5 miles coming up. I know we got Dover. So I'm looking forward to hopefully continuing to get top 5s, top 10s, and maybe a win at one of these real tracks. But if we make it to the playoffs, I think we got Atlanta. So we can make it there. We'll have a shot, I think.
Do you have anybody you would like to thank before you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Wild Willie's Beard Care and Case Construction for hopping on board the Chevrolet this week and every week.
All right. Well, congratulations, Jason, on finishing second here from Talladega. We'll see you next week here on Racers Elite. Dave, back to you.
Thank you for that interview, Daniel. As always, down there in the pits, making sure that you're getting a hold of just about everybody you can. But last but certainly not least, and my favorite internet interview of the night, Mr. Matt Metler, driver of the 311 Toyota Camry. Buddy, listen, congrats here on the podium finish.
Dave, it's about time I get to perform well in a race when you're up in the booth, because usually I'm taking out the hot garbage in the back of this thing, but not tonight. What a race. That was absolutely epic.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you had everything. You started shotgun on the field. You managed to crawl up all the way through that traffic. Take us through what it's like to have to climb from 21st all the way up to 3rd.
When you're doing it, you absolutely hate life. You're trying to pay attention to what's going on in front of you. Then, you're boxed in cars, 2 to 3 inches off you. Everyone's trying to make moves. And honestly, it's a lot of guesswork. I was just fortunate enough to, find holes when I needed to have them. I got caught up in that big incident going for the lead. I think it was 4 wide. I'm not sure what happened, but, I couldn't be mad at that. That was awesome. The adrenaline was through the roof. Then you had to bring the fast repair there. And then that last restart, since I've been here, that 15, Kinsley Smith usually wins everything. So, my plan was simple. I'm just going to follow the 15 Napa know-how, right? And I'm going to do what he does. Well, anyways, when the Red Seas were getting ready to part there, I was going to go with the 57, and I thought we were going to take it to the house, but then I forgot we only had one green, white, checkered finish. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad to finally get my first top 3 here in Racers Elite and perform well when you're up in the booth. It's about time, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was so excited to see if you were going to get another shot here at the green, white checker, because I thought, oh, man, this is going to put you in the catbird seat. I mean, 3rd is the best place to restart here at Talladega, as you know. And, I was thinking, oh, my God, I'm about to call a Matt Metler win. I was grabbing for the aspirin bottle because I was pretty sure I was going to have a heart attack.
You and me both. You have no idea how disappointing it's been. When you try to race over there in Sunday Night NASCAR, those guys are just so good. And as much as I love it, every time you're up in the booth, I stink the bed up. So I'm just glad I finally got to perform well for you, number 1. And number 2, big shout out to Andrew for all the hard work he does. These are an excellent group of racers here, and looking forward to Watkins Glen next week.
Absolutely. And of course, as you know, my routine is before I cut, this is weird for me to even have to ask you this question. Before I cut you loose, who else do you need to tip your helmet to for this run tonight?
Well, that's easy. All the guys over at SRM, Jonathan Leach, yourself for putting on a killer broadcast. Our Sunday night gig together. Best times of my life up there in the booth with you, sir.
All right, my friend, listen, congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate, and I'm sure I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Hey, we're going to have some chicken cock whiskey, baby. Let's go!
My man, pots and pans.
Later, Dave.
Well, Daniel, another one in the books here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. What a finish we had tonight. I mean, we had everything. We had a couple of cautions that came out ill-timed. We had a couple of, really great green flag runs here, and everything came together to culminate in an incredible race finish.
Well, it's everything that we asked for, and it did deliver here tonight. We saw great moves, great blocks, wrecks. I mean, we couldn't ask anything better than that, and a great finish as well. But, I mean, these guys put on a great performance. Now we just pack our bags and move on to the next one next week, Dave.
Yeah, we get to load up and go to Watkins Glen next week. But before we do, we want to take one final look at our results here. Kinsley Smith captures the checkered flag under caution in the green-white checker NASCAR overtime. He's joined on the podium by Jason Bottoms and our very own Matt Metler. Ira Kohlhaas finishes in 4th, while Alex Teft rounds out your top 5. Brandon Honeycutt comes home with 6th place honors with Dennis Kane and Noah Tansman in 7th and 8th. Brandon Sanfilippo and Alan Bergen, our other SRM teammate, round out your top 10, while Gregory Robinson, Sam Kohlhaas, Brandon Zimmerman, Troy Thomas, and Dakota Bly make up the top 15. Kirby Wainscott finishes 16th, while Andrew Teft finishes in 17th. Truth Hoke finishes in 18th. Curtis Ecker, Diego Rodriguez, and Matt Schlosser round out the rest of the field out of the 21 cars that took the green flag tonight. And just a few cars not able to finish this race. In fact, it was just 3 of them, to be honest with you. And quite frankly, that's still a great performance here at Talladega Superspeedway. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner, Daniel Paulus Jr., we want to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones and everywhere else, no matter how you're watching and listening. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everyone.